goal is to bring you your next favorite band. Day 5 of our Musikfest daily live streams broadcasting from Godfrey Daniels. Our guests today include Managing Director of Godfrey Daniels, Ramona LaBarre. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese. I am joined by guest co-host
LaBarre. Hi, everybody. Happy to be here, Philip.
Thank you. You are listening to
Your Next Favorite Band.
Yes. We're like, I always, like I said yesterday, I was like, I never know what's going to come out of the mouth of the guests when I point to them. If they listen to the show or if they don't, I'm just always like, what are they going to say? But it's kind of fun for me just to never know what's going to happen. But you nailed it.
It's revealing.
Well done there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, I owe you so many thanks. First of all, for coming on the show today, but actually primarily for letting us always set up here during Musikfest.
We're happy to do that. The space is simply, we're happy that it's put to such good use.
Yeah, I mean,
There's so much going on out there all around us.
It's such a neat thing, especially some people, George Harab, is on this stage often. Blair Crimmins remembers being on this stage years ago. So people are familiar. Then other ones have always wanted to be on the stage. So like Aaron Kelly, Dustin Douglas, they're all just like, oh, let's get in here. Or maybe have been here as like an opener for somebody. You know, it was like, they want to, that's almost, it's an aspirational stage for these different musicians to be on.
It's a good adjective.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one I didn't know of before the research. That's what I love about Musikfest is, now having done the show for 2 years and, have been going down to the festival for about 9 or 10 taking it seriously, like multiple days of the festival. I now recognize a bunch, but I still every year get blown away by the amount of outstanding musicians I've never heard before.
That is mind-blowing.
Yes, and then the other part, and this speaks to what we'll probably talk about a bunch, is the amount of local talent, like Lehigh Valley-based exceptional musicians. Yes. This is one of them. Emma Bachrast, her sound is amazing. If you check out her album on streaming or whatever, it's really, really good stuff.
Cool. Do you know who she's recording with?
I don't.
Like the studio?
No. That's what I mean is like once they're on the show, I can answer questions like that. Okay. But before that, I'm always just, again, the volume of incredible talent that you've never heard of, even when you're connected to,
it's true.
Backstories of things. It's just like, wow, it's so very humbling and very, very cool. It gives me, rather than being annoyed when I look at the lineup of something like Musikfest of 400 bands and I'm like, oh, darn, this one's not on there, this one's not on there, this one's not on there. I'm like, wow, I can't wait to see who am I going to learn about this year. And there were 2 on full display. But you're no longer a co-host, you're now a guest.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Ramona LaBarre.
Thank you.
Managing Director, Godfrey Daniels.
Thank you for having me, Philip.
Oh, thank you. No, listen, this is such a generous thing that you all do to let me set up here. It's so nice to be able to... Positioning for the festival, whether a guest has to go to North Side after they're done, like most of the ones that have been on this week, or like the Amish Outlaws going to South Side after this. It's so well, I always say, far enough away that parking isn't a bear, but close enough that you can get back to whatever stage you need to in minutes. So that's huge. It's an air-conditioned space. So that's huge. Anyway, so super thank you for that.
Thank you.
And so let's first talk about the space. So for people who may not know Godfrey Daniels, 48 years in existence. It's I always kind of refer to it as like a 75-person space. Mm-hmm. It's flexible. Right. And it's an incredible... We were talking about it here because the Amish Outlaws picked it up when they first walked in. They were just like, there's a special thing in this space where you can just feel it when you walk in. The acoustics are amazing. The intimacy of the space with the performer is amazing. So please just talk about maybe a little bit more of kind of the history of the club.
Well, it's like a concert in your living room.
Yep.
So founded by Dave Fry and Cindy Dinsmore. Dave was influenced, I was talking about this earlier, by his visits to Cafe Lena in Saratoga Springs, which opened in 1960.
And I always say Dave Fry's probably on the Mount Rushmore of like Lehigh Valley musicians.
Yes, he is. And a renowned family performing artist as well.
I've had people on the show who say, I used to watch his How to Learn to Play the Guitar on the PBS channel, who grew up around here.
Yes.
So it's like, that's how big a deal he is.
I think that, I could be wrong, but I think that Dave Fry and Craig Thatcher are certainly 2 artists that we all know who have played Musikfest every year.
Every year, yes.
Since it started in 1980s. Which music fest is it this year, by the way?
41st.
Okay.
It was last year was their 40th anniversary.
Okay.
40th Music Fest. It's not an anniversary because
Right.
year one is year one, not
Right.
zero.
So, long time. So, yeah, they started it and, started with local artists and then got on to some of the artists who were maybe performing in New York or Philly, making their way through. And then once some of those artists here, like Norman and Nancy Blake, come to mind, Stan Rogers and his brother Garnet Rogers, Robin and Linda Williams were some early performers, Roy Bookbinder, Chris Smither, John Gorka, of course.
Yeah.
Then word of mouth got out there
Yep.
because obviously the internet wasn't around back then.
Yeah. Because one of the things that Dave wanted was a space that wasn't a bar, that people who were
Correct.
coming into it were going to be listening to the musician. You're not
Yes.
just off in the corner, being ignored. So that was predominantly where it was coming from. And also, so now it is a very and having things like Godfrey Daniels, like Musikfest, has also just brought a very music appreciative audience to this area. A lot of people always
Yes.
mention on the show they love playing Bethlehem.
It's also helped to develop the younger artists.
Totally.
I think they come from that. Absolutely. So I remember years ago in the 90s, there was a big band here from probably C.J. Chenier's band from Louisiana. And they had this one percussion guy. He was a big guy. He played the triangle, but he was heard offstage, saying he was really kind of stunned and stopped in his tracks to look up and see that people were looking at the band on the stage. It wasn't a bar setting where they were accustomed to playing in. So
and people are welcome to bring beer or wine.
Yes.
There's nothing for sale, but you can bring your own.
No alcohol, but we have
right.
coffee, tea, soft drinks, fresh baked goods from Z-Craft around the corner.
Yeah, it's a wonderful experience.
It's very welcoming space, staffed by volunteers, very dedicated volunteers.
Yeah, it is a nonprofit, so we always want to point that out too. If you go to the site, which let's bring it up now, you can become a supporting member. You can.
Like you?
That's true, I am. And that you need to do that in your community. If you see somebody doing great work and they're a nonprofit, you got to support them. So you can either flat out make a donation of a certain amount, or you can become that kind of supporting member where it's more of either a monthly or an annual charge. But it's super important for organizations like this to know what they can kind of count on.
Yes,
and then purchase tickets to shows.
Yes. So, support comes in all sizes. I mean, we're grateful for our supporting members. Also for our volunteers who come in every weekend and help to set up the room, seat folks, greet folks, pour the coffee, and our donors. But also, if you're buying a ticket to a concert, you are supporting Godfrey Daniels.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and pretty much for the month of August, you take that month off. A lot going on with Musikfest, a lot going on with back to school and all that stuff. So things ramp back up in September, correct?
Yes.
And then anything to promote in the fall here?
So we've got a lot of old and a lot of new. A lot of artists who are with us every year. Happy to see them come back. The Glengarry Boys, Serene Green. Mike Ferris is coming in from Nashville. Abby Gardner, Ann Hills, John Gorka, the Kennedys, Chris Smither. New this year, we have in September Alash, who are a group of Tuvan throat singers.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
Yeah, world music. And also a new band in December coming called Windborn. They're also at the Philly Folk Fest this year.
Oh, nice.
So.
And you have stuff that goes on at Philly Folk Fest too, right?
This year.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
We were invited to curate a stage.
Oh, fun.
At Philly. So it's what they call their workshop. It's a workshop stage.
Yeah.
They're all singer-songwriters, and I'm super excited to have them on stage today.
That is cool, especially since this place isn't open in August. It's cool to have a stage at Musikfest, a stage at Philly Folk Fest. It only makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
And then it allows you to kind of continue that through. And then, again, thank you again for letting me to kind of borrow the space.
Yeah, it's reciprocal. We love it. We love it.
Absolutely. Anything else to promote? I mean, that was a ton, so if not, no worries. But
So I'm remembering when I was here with you last year, we talked about new stuff that's coming to Godfrey's, and I mentioned hip-hop and comedy. We didn't quite make it to hip-hop, still working on that, but we do have a comedy series that we kind of started. We've done a couple of them, and we're going to start that in September.
That is very cool.
With Kate Hughes. I think she's going to be your guest here later this week.
But Kate Hughes will be on Sunday on the 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's a performer in her own right, and we're proud
No,
to
she's
have
wonderful.
her
She's got
part of our
great
community.
routine and always writing new stuff.
Yeah.
And she's another great supporter because she's on the radio around here as well, and kind of brings on people who I have on the show or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, she really knows her stuff. Well,
cool.
she has a radio show.
That's what I mean. Is like
Yeah, right.
that's a great way to kind of promote some things of what's going on.
Yeah.
But cool. Thank you so much, Ramona. Thank you for everything and for coming on and curating such wonderful lists. I can't wait to
Thanks
catch
for having
some
me.
of these acts. And so everyone, either if you're local, buy tickets to shows that are here. It's a great space. Buy a raffle ticket to Warren and Martin. Come down to these sets that are free. Well, not Philly Folk Fest, but Musikfest is free.
Worth it.
It's totally worth it, absolutely, because there's more other stuff going on there too. That's amazing. Definitely get to know Godfrey Daniels and follow them on social media. There's a lot of cool stuff.
GodfreyDaniels.org.
There you are,
Click
ladies and gentlemen.
the Gazette button. Sign up. Find out. Get on the email
right.
list. Find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Thanks a million, Philip.
Thank
It's
you.
been great.
Yeah. Day 10 of the Musikfest daily live streams from Godfrey Daniels. Today we have muralist Kyle Edwards and comedian Kate Hughes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese, and I am joined by guest co-hosts.
Kate Hughes.
Kyle Edwards.
And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
Next favorite band?
Yeah, we did it.
We did it, guys.
Nailed it.
Every time.
Nailed it. It's so fun.
Just my mug?
I do. I love the design.
Thank you.
I had the artist on Wednesday this week.
Oh, cool.
know.
So if anybody wants to check out more backstory on the design and Lauren Beck, the woman who designed it,
Dope.
check
Call
it out.
Philip.
Check it out. Well, you just pull it up. It's all out there on demand. And your bios are way longer than muralist and comedian, and we're going to get into all that. But in that little window of time, I can only say so much.
Perfect.
But here's
Right,
the
right.
beauty of it. What I love about the Musikfest daily live streams is in addition to featuring music and in addition to featuring the festival, I can also shine a light on the other awesome aspects of the Lehigh Valley. Our community is loaded with such talented people.
Yeah.
And music is one aspect of the art that's available, but then we have visual art, and we have comedy, and we have culinary art, like there's great restaurants. So we try to make sure everybody knows how awesome Bethlehem, Allentown, Easton is, and so that, come during Musikfest, but then come other times in the year where you can really maybe enjoy those aspects of the Lehigh Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Love
we were just talking about that,
Yeah.
actually, while we were waiting for you. It's fine. It's fine.
I did send a note.
I did get a donut. It worked out for everybody.
So you're welcome.
Yeah.
And another thing that I thought was fun is I was sharing with people that actually always make sure the T-shirt I wear is kind of somehow connected to the people who are on the show, and I thought this one was perfect,
Oh my gosh, that's the perfect
Oh, that is perfect.
T-shirt.
especially for each of you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about humor and it's about creativity.
I love it.
Boom.
I think they go hand in hand. Boom.
And donuts.
And donuts.
That's why I'm gonna
Yeah.
need. That's what's on the back.
And donut. Let me just
Yeah.
get a Sharpie. No, that's perfect.
But yeah, so thank you both for coming on the show. welcome to the show.
Thanks for having
Kate
us.
Hughes, welcome to the show.
Thank
Kyle
you.
Edwards.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
appreciate
And it's
it.
been such a fun connection. I can't even. I was trying to even roll it back to see where it all happened, but there was definitely like a crossroads.
There
at
was a
which-
rainbow for sure.
That's right, yes.
And a little bit of glitter.
And a tiara, yeah.
And a tiara.
And so anyway, let's just start with you, Kate. Let's talk about your backstory because we
Oh,
said
God.
comedian.
Okay,
But we'll
yeah.
get into some of the other elements of this. But let's go back to your story. Like, comedy is what you do as a profession.
And as a human.
And
Yeah, it's been the flotation
Yeah.
device
Yeah.
for my entire life.
Sure.
When I was younger, I was really short. I'm much taller now.
That's
you
the
guys
shoes.
noticed that.
That's the
Yeah,
shoes.
I wear big shoes now. But people used to make fun of me. You know how kids are.
Yeah.
They just pick on you.
Yep.
So it was like for being short and like being really pale. Like things that don't...
Not even creative.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Right,
I'm
yeah.
like, can you come up
Come
with
up with
something
something
better
better
than
than
that? You know, like my one eye is a different color than the other one. Like, but anyway, yeah, so... Yeah.
You almost were going to reveal something.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't say it.
Yeah, keep that's on the
Yes,
inside.
voice,
Yes.
inside voice. But I think as a way to like fit in, I always, I was like the jokester. I just like made jokes. I have 3 brothers, so you
That's
have
brutal.
to. That is
Yeah.
that was brutal. I never got to watch anything on television, so I was using my imagination a lot. I was coloring. I was climbing trees, but I always felt when I made somebody laugh, it just there's just something to that. It's like this sort of drug, and I try to be nice to everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's like one of my, I guess, like a core value or something. Even with like the grocery store, I just try to, because it's probably not their dream position, kind of thing. Or maybe they haven't had a great day. You say like, oh, I really like your nails or your hair or something. And you'd be surprised if people like open up and kind of talk to you.
Sure.
When you just like level the playing field.
Right.
So I've noticed that my people, so you do stand-up comedy, and some crowds like you.
Yeah.
And some crowds don't.
Right.
Old people. Those are my people. They love me.
Right.
And babies. No, like little kids. Little kids like me.
Yeah.
Our people our age, not so much, but the old people and the babies. No, it's just it's funny. And being on stage, there's a lot of psychology that goes with
sure.
it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can drop a joke and it doesn't land because it takes a second.
Yep.
And then you can take that time to walk across the stage, and then you hear the wave, and and they sit in it. That doesn't happen a whole lot for me yet, but one time on this stage, actually, I did this great. I know it's a great joke, and I did it. And the comedians that were downstairs, they asked me later, they're like, what was that joke you said? Because we were talking and we heard, and he said, it was like a wave.
Roll, yeah.
And he goes, and we all stopped, and we were like, all right, good job, Kate.
Right.
Again, that doesn't happen for me often. But
Let's take a moment to talk about that. So Godfrey Daniels, 48-year history.
Yeah.
They had never done comedy before.
Yeah.
And that was, you broke a glass ceiling there.
I don't want to brag, but
It was a great night. There was
I did
three
it.
different comedians, and Godfrey's had always wanted to. In talking with Ramona, they're like, we always wanted to make some bookings be comedy, but it didn't happen until you made it happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm on the board here, so
Sure.
I'm just like...
Listen, whatever.
I'm like, hey, you know what you need? You need me.
Yeah.
No, but we've been able to schedule these comedians, and it's such a great space here. You know, and it's such a great way to get local
Everyone who walks in
performers.
this week, most of it's the first time they've walked in here.
Yeah.
And so they always go, oh, there's something special going on here.
Yeah.
There's an excellent feel here. Like,
Right.
it's just, you can tell you're in a really cool space.
Oh yeah, and then to be on stage and perform, honestly, it's a really great venue. And then you get to sign the wall downstairs. It's just really cool, and it's right here on the south side of Bethlehem. But yeah, so I've done radio. I don't know, 10, 15 years.
Sure.
Time is an illusion for me, so I'm not really sure. But I've been doing that for a really long time. Live radio. I've had you on.
Yep.
And that's a way to really be able to like listen to people and like really
And since people can
communicate.
tune into that, like it's an iHeart radio station that you're on, so you can download that app. You can just stream it for free.
Yeah, and you should.
And you should. And it's available everywhere. So like old radio, you obviously had to have proximity to.
Yeah, to put it on your shoulder.
Right, well,
back in the day, but not anymore.
But now that since it's an iHeart radio station, you could just listen to your show, and it's every Monday, 12 to 3 Eastern time.
Yeah.
And it's called the Lunch Express.
It's called the Lunch Express.
And it's 2 hours of like
nonsense.
Music. Well, yes, but music and just
Whatever's up here.
Yeah, things that you've got some cool shtick to it.
Wrote notes.
And
all
then
week.
the last hour is the guest.
Yes.
So it is cool because it's a regular radio show for 2 hours. With your comedy in between the music that gets played, and you're always like so gracious about accepting requests. So that's the other cool part is you're listening in, you want to recommend a song, have at it. And in fact, one that was recommended by someone else, you played, I loved it, and brought the person on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Full circle stuff.
Yeah.
Look what we're doing.
Because I was listening and I was like, what is this song I've never heard of before? And then went down the rabbit hole of their whole catalog, and I was like, these people are amazing. And they were super nice people because they coordinated an interview like right away. That had nothing to do with me. It had to do with how awesome they were.
And then I was on that show.
That's right. Yeah. You were the guest host of that because I was like, it just made a ton of sense. The artist is Smokey Brights. Listen to the music, and if you like it, check out the interview. It's excellent. But so 12 to 3 every Monday.
Every Monday, yep. And I've been doing that for like 10, 15 years. So I have people, we've had musicians, comedians, local business owners, and things like that. Come on. It's just, just conversation. And I love talking to people, like really talking to them. And, and at the end, we wrap it up. They get to pick 6 songs, and we end the show with their song. But yeah, I love doing that. And then I met Kyle.
Yeah, this is a great transition. Yeah,
a couple years ago.
Good segue.
And I think I stalked you a little bit online. I was searching for artists.
Sure you did.
And I
everyone
called him.
should.
And I remembered the conversation that we had. My husband was driving me, and I'm on the phone, and we're talking, and we just had this like meaningful conversation about art and how it can help you and it can help other people, and how can we make more people understand that there is value to it, and there's a reason that we do it.
Right.
Like it is therapy for a lot of us.
Certainly.
And we got together. We were able to tell a story, and then a year later, he started Inkwell. He opened Inkwell, and I can't remember exactly how it went, but he contacted me, and I was like, "Let's do it. What are we doing? Let's do it."
Yeah, whatever it is, we're going to do it.
I'm in.
Yeah.
And so the quick transition here is then, so you're helping book the artists in the space.
Not everybody, but yeah. So
Right.
we did. We got the full year of the comedians. We have an open mic every other Monday night. So tomorrow night.
Right.
And so the winner from that month gets to be on the big show.
Nice.
They get to select the
How
show that they
fun.
want to be
And
on.
they get paid.
Yeah.
And they get paid.
Yeah,
so, and that was the big thing
Right.
for Kyle, because how many people are like, "Oh, I'm a starving artist, artist," and it like why is it like that?
Right.
There's so much talent,
Right.
really. Like nobody who is that creative should be doing things for free or not be compensated.
Right.
There's value in it. To be able to highlight these people, they bring in money to these
Establishments, yeah.
these establishments, these venues, and why not share it with them?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Kyle's done a great thing where he started to bring art in, and typically in a gallery type setting, the percentage it could be like a 50-50 or a 40-60, where the venue gets more money, but he's the only place in the Lehigh Valley that does 70-30
In favor of the artist.
in favor of the artists.
I remember, and that's it. The thing is, like, I'm sure you're not always like wanting to take, like, kind of like how I didn't want to take credit for anything before. Like, I'm sure you're like, no, this is the way it should be. So you may not want to shine a light on that, but I think it's important to do that because people just don't know. Like, they don't realize when you go into a gallery and buy a piece of art that the artist is actually making a percentage of their own art.
Right.
And the gallery sometimes is making out better. And I think that's an important thing to make people aware of.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. So yeah, let's talk about this. So Kyle, you have this, because I'm going to work it a little bit backwards because that's how I got to know you, is I knew about Inkwell first. And Inkwell is a brand new venue in Allentown in a great spot. And the space is for artists to be like have a safe space and people to come and take that in, an artist in any sense of the word. So whether it is visual artists like we were just talking about, or musicians, or comedy, or even cooking, whatever. Like there's
Culinary
all
arts, yeah.
right. Everything is an option. Like you're kind of open to anyone's ideas,
Anything.
on what art could be in that space, which I think is fascinating. So. Then I come to learn about yourself and the A True L.O.V.E. story. So if you don't mind, maybe kind of take us through that as Inkwell into A True L.O.V.E. story, and then we'll go backwards into your personal story.
Sure. Inkwell, you said it great. It's a shared creative space. Well, first off, I want to thank you for allowing us to be here. Give you your flowers first, man. I really appreciate it.
I also thank you. Darn it, I forgot that part.
No, it's totally fine.
No, it's really important because we appreciate being here.
thank you.
But Inkwell, it's a shared creative space. I guess I coined that phrase. Essentially, many of the great things that have happened at Inkwell, they're not my doing. I'm just kind of orchestrating, piecing things together. More often than not, I'm bartending or I'm at the door. I'm doing something I kind of like to blend in.
Yep.
It gives me a really good vantage point, too, where
Sure.
I can kind of pick apart things like, we could do this better,
Right.
and this lighting should be better. And so I like it, and I sort of like when people find out that I own the place, just because they have no idea, and I just like that.
Right.
Because
He
it
puts
doesn't
a
matter.
superhero cape on.
Right, exactly, yeah.
No, it's cool. It's a good vibe in there. You've been in there, and, we've had some phenomenal events. We've had fine dining events, comedy shows, of course, live music events. It's very intimate, I let folks that do great things do it on that stage. I just want to elevate them.
Right.
And Inkwell really came about from just the realization that there's a need for that in my local community.
Yes.
Born and raised in Allentown, there's not much for folks that contribute. I like to call them contributors, people that create and do cool things, because all is art. Everything is art. This table's art. The shirt I'm wearing, the dress she's wearing, everything is art.
Sure.
I think we fail to realize that at times. So we need to really help artists understand that they shouldn't starve.
You have T-shirts that say that.
Yeah, artists shouldn't starve.
Yeah.
It's one of my most popular ones being sold now. But yeah, it's the truth because it's only romantic in movies, and even then, as an artist, it makes me cringe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hate the idea of artists struggling. So I don't have all the answers, but I'm certainly willing to work with others to bring their vision to life and help them monetize it. I want to really try to figure out a way for artists to create monetization and live off their craft.
Yeah, I've brought this story up sometimes, like, because people who are asking me a question, they're like, what's some of the similarities of things you've learned after doing these interviews with all these musicians? And I was like, for the most part, most of them don't want to be famous. They just want to be a musician. And so, like, this person, works at an office as an accountant. This person's a plumber. This person's a musician. And they don't need to have another job in order to make a living, not starving, as their musician. That's all they want.
Yeah.
They want to be able to almost be a 9-to-5 with medical benefits, except they play the guitar or, the drums or write music or whatever. So, like, I'm sure you're seeing that as well, where it's
100%.
like, I'm sure some people are aspirational about wanting the fame, but for the most part, the people that I'm meeting and talking to that are on the musician side, it's like, I just want to do this.
They just want freedom.
Correct.
That's all they want.
Right.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, I saw the need in Allentown specifically, and I knew that, much like yourself, I get the sense that you're on assignment. I think we're all on assignment.
Yeah.
This is something I have to do. I wish I could just flip burgers at Burger King and be happy.
Oh my gosh, I wish that all the time.
Because
all the time.
Because realistically, that is success. If you're happy doing
Of
what
course.
you're doing, it's flipping burgers,
Yep.
dropping fries, whatever. If you're happy doing it,
Right.
you've achieved success.
Correct.
Yeah.
I must do this to achieve my idea of success. So I've always been someone that likes to make other people happy. I like to make them smile. Much like Kate, we have actually similar backgrounds.
Yeah.
Everyone thought I was going to be a comedian when I was younger. I was the fat kid. I got picked on. But you would pick on me one time, and then I would just lean into you.
Right.
You'd avoid me the rest of the
Right,
time.
right,
I'm not going to mess with it. So growing up, everyone thought I was going to be a comedian. But I think I realized at a young age, I enjoy watching other people enjoy themselves.
Sure.
So I want to elevate whatever it is they're doing at Inkwell. A True Love Story, to kind of backtrack, A True Love Story is kind of the umbrella company. That's art, apparel, and entertainment.
Yep. I'll bring up the site while you can keep chatting.
Okay. The art piece of that is most recently large scale stuff, but I've done canvas work. But again, murals are very popular. And they tend to pay a little better. So I've been doing.
And some of the clients you've had are like the Philadelphia Eagles.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool. We've done.
So it's
five.
there it is there.
Yeah.
You don't need it to be that level of client. I just more talk about that the resume is there for people to really understand and appreciate the talent that you have.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So I work with a fellow artist to achieve that for the Eagles. We've installed 5 for them. We just installed a mural downtown Allentown, which is actually the
one
largest
is so
one.
cool.
Thanks, man.
Because it was like maybe 20% there when I was at that other event.
Okay.
I would love to swing back around.
Yeah, you gotta check it out.
Musikfest absorbs 2 weeks of my brain.
I get it, rightfully so. But yeah, we've I got.
Oh, that is such a cool one.
Yeah, that
Sinatra
kid,
one.
Yep. So the owner of Lost Tavern, his father is a big fan of Sinatra, and we saw those bars and like we got to get the mugshot.
That's fantastic.
But that was my first event there with those 5 large pieces.
Yeah,
that was in 2019. The first event I held was honestly a result of impatience. I got tired of waiting on somebody to give me a shot. It really is like was it Cassie, the musician that sang that heartfelt song?
Cass. Noel. Yeah.
The pain can sometimes be a privilege, So
sure.
Much like disgust and frustration, I was frustrated. I got tired of waiting on somebody to give me a shot. I turned that into something positive where we can, do some cool things. And we hosted the first event in 2019. Fast forward, now I host the holiday market at the Promenade Shop. So I have a great partnership with them every year. And I do large scale, events. I'm actually working with the city to plan a large scale event soon. So we have a lot of things in the pipeline. But again, a lot of that came from just frustration waiting on somebody to give me a shot.
Right.
But the art piece, again, murals.
I pulled up the merch section. Here's that shirt we were talking about. You can purchase it there. We always like to sling the merch because it's such a great way to support. And then there is artwork in here as well.
Yeah, there's some canvas print in there.
And then where's the events? This is what I wanted to pull up. So here's where you can learn all the stuff that's coming up and how to buy a ticket for it. two things I wanted to mention about that is, one, the price does often include a beverage, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So we don't have a liquor license.
Right.
So that's I guess crafty way to kind of
Sure.
walk that fine line.
Yeah.
They're free. Drinks are free all
Right.
night long. You come out and have a good time. As
Right.
long as you're having a good time, keep on coming
Right.
back to the bar.
And then the other part is, I think some people, because it's a problem here in Bethlehem as well, is the parking can be a difficulty.
Yes.
But you've solved that problem.
Yes, I think so. So there's just steps away. There's Truist Bank parking lot. I just got tired of folks complaining about the parking
Sure.
situation, so I went and talked to them,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Not a problem." So
Yeah.
you can park for free at Truist Bank parking
And
lot.
like,
right
what
now.
a great way for a
Right.
company to help this
The community.
local
Yep.
business
Yep.
and help the community.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I was very grateful for that.
Yeah.
So that's big. So yeah, we we're doing some cool things over there. I'm sorry, I keep kind of digressing.
Not
here,
at all.
but
You're fine.
The murals, art apparel is e-commerce apparel. Entertainment, again, I host public and private events. But the mural downtown Allentown that we were discussing, it's actually one of the largest in the valley. It's
Sure.
57 feet tall, 117 feet wide. Took
It is big.
Yeah, 2 months to paint. It was a lot. Within the past 3 months, I painted 6 murals, and
Wow.
it's been nonstop. So
That's super cool.
I was painting today. In fact, I got paint over my hands. But yeah, we're always grinding. We're always grinding.
Yeah.
But no, it's a true love story. Came from a tragedy. My sister passed away in 2012. I kind of got stuck in depression. Couldn't snap out of it. I had some dark thoughts. To get myself out of it, I turned to my first love, which was art. And art really did save my life. I'm a firm believer in that. And I started painting on canvases. Ran out of canvases. Started painting on shirts. Put on online, people were digging it. Like, can I have a custom piece? Like, yeah, whatever, man. You know, so that turned into an apparel line.
Sure.
But like I said, it's pain can sometimes be a privilege if you use it the right way and harness it. My brother passed away while I was painting the mural downtown Allentown, and I got the call when I was at the wall and. Grieved for a moment or two, of course, and then I got back to work, and I heard my brother's voice clear as day tell me to use it, and just 2 words. He just said, "Use it," and I intend to. So even with that loss, I'm going to turn it into something great. And
Right.
if they thought I was working hard before, they don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
No, it's been awesome, man. We have a lot of fun at Inkwell. I have a lot of fun doing what I'm doing, and I still can't believe I get paid to do what I do. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So it's,
Well, I
it's
don't know
cool.
about that. No,
Yeah.
and I think too the passion and the emotion that you put into things as well on the opening night, where it was like the groundbreaking type thing.
Oh my
like
gosh.
you were at a loss for words, and I thought it was this beautiful thing where it was just like you were so overtaken by the moment, and it's you didn't need words. Like it was just with how taken aback you were. I just thought that was like, well, that's it. That says everything. Like it's just really very, very cool what you're doing.
Very grateful.
And also in that community, because you're right. Bethlehem has this. Easton has things. Allentown didn't have that, and I think it's also a great thing that you never know what 7-year-old might now have access to and be inspired by something that never would have happened without Inkwell being
right.
there.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing that's really great about the stage, besides the fact that it was blessed, and I'll let you talk about that because
Yes,
you're
yeah.
much better at describing it.
Right.
But when you're on stage as a performer, the windows that are at the front of the building are behind you.
Right.
So there are people that walk by and will participate, like behind the comedian doing things. And it's such a great way
Right.
to be involved too. You could have people could just like drive by on bicycles, and they do. People come by and they pump their fist. I've seen somebody do like a cartwheel, and it's engaging the community. We have this one kid that lives next door,
Right.
and he'll walk by and somebody will be on stage, and he lifts up his shirt and he just stands there
love him.
and he puts it down.
We
He'll
love
come
him.
back like 3 times.
It's called
And
the Inkwell experience,
yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not ashamed of my city, Of
course not. Yeah.
And I want people to see the city behind them. I want that to be the backdrop, and it really becomes part of the show.
Sure.
And there's moments that I'm in the back of the venue, and I'm looking, because as you know, it's very dark, and the walls are literally black. It's a blank slate for anybody to do what they need to do. But the stage is the focal point. There's light shining on it. That's the focal point. Everything else kind of fades to the wayside, and the city becomes that backdrop. And there's moments when I'm in the back and I'm looking out. I'm like, this is incredible. Like,
Right.
This is really
Right,
cool.
right,
right,
And, there was a guy that was juggling something the one
Yeah.
time, and just crazy stuff. But I want people to realize that Allentown is something special, and there's things that are coming that are going to be really big and monumental, impactful for generations to come, and I hope Inkwell is part of that.
Well, I was just talking the other day, like this UNESCO thing. That's a real opportunity for not just Bethlehem, but the entire Lehigh Valley.
Absolutely.
To realize, okay, these people are coming.
Yep.
They're going to come to our community. They're coming here. Let's show them where to go.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. No, that's exactly right. As I do think people are going to say, because we were chatting about it with Craig Larimer yesterday. I was like, so, you know, there's, I think he said 26 World Heritage Sites in the United States. That's it. This is now one of 26.
That's incredible.
And you're talking about things like Independence Hall and Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. So it's at that level in the curation minds of the UNESCO organization.
Yeah.
So what we were kind of chatting about was it's pretty clear that people coming from out of the country into here, they'll probably check that list and be like, oh, look at how close these all are. I'll go to New York, I'll go to Philadelphia, and I don't know what the heck Bethlehem is, but we'll go there. And then you're right. They're going to get here and go, well, I don't know where to go, like, you know, and what to do and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think there's a tremendous opportunity because when people are on vacation, other than seeing sites like that in the evening time, they're going to want to go in to restaurants and entertainment.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a huge opportunity for employment in our community.
Yep.
It can create so many jobs.
Yep.
You know, I was walking into town and I'm thinking, you know, Musikfest is huge. This is going to be like Musikfest like 20 times a year. I really think it's going to be like that.
I agree.
And, you know, there's so many great places. There's so many great historic hotels here.
Yeah.
There's museums here. I mean, there's so much that we could show people.
Yep.
The Lehigh Valley, I think it's like top 5 places to retire is the Lehigh Valley.
Yep.
And
We're on a roll.
yeah, look at us. Yeah. And my dad jokes that he wants to move in with me, and I'm like,
No. You had your
not
chance.
You. Yeah. No, but it's great. We have a great community. It's rich and alive in the arts, and there's so many talented people.
So much talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I'm just excited for what's coming, and again, grateful to contribute to the overall good, because a lot of good is coming out of this neck of the woods.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously the site has like what's upcoming. Anything else in your mind, vision-wise, for Inkwell, like where you want to get it to, or promote, or currently working on? Again, maybe not want to say all the different. You know,
that's okay.
No secrets. No secrets revealed tonight.
Yeah. But I like, what else can we help promote for like what's coming up for you in the space?
Yeah, if they just follow on social media, we always have new things coming up. Yeah, just stay tuned. I mean, I'm really just one foot in front of the other, figuring out as we go along. Kate and I, we have conversations about different visions and ideas and things we want to bring to life, and we intend to.
Right.
But it's my baby, so I'm in no rush.
Right.
I'm okay with the slow trickle.
Right.
There was folks reaching out that initially wanted to fund, Inkwell and do. I don't want to owe anybody money. I just want to let it slowly grow. I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Because it's growing.
That means you got something good.
Yeah.
And people are willing to throw money at it.
Heck
You know?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So
Stay tuned. So it's I Hate Kate. Hate is H and the number 8.
H and 8. Yeah. Okay.
So I Hate Kate on Instagram, or you could just search Kate Hughes. It'll come up. And then again, you're right. Like we always say that too. Like just give it a follow, and then you'll be caught up to date on all of the upcoming stuff.
Calendars is on Inkwell, Inkwell.LLC on Instagram, A True Love Story.LLC. The Market by ATLS. You want to follow that? We have the upcoming holiday market at the Promenade Shops.
Yep.
Please give us a follow, and you'll stay updated.
But yeah, Kyle, Kate, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And hopefully you get to some of the stages. There's obviously you saw some great music out there.
Heading there now.
Yeah.
Day 9 of the Musikfest daily live streams, coming to you from Godfrey Daniels. Our guest, Craig Larimer.
Good.
Welcome, Craig Larimer. And we're going to talk about Bethlehem. We love doing this on Musikfest week 2. Craig!
How's this? Hello, Phil.
This is perfect.
How are you?
Great. And you?
I'm doing wonderfully well on this sunny Saturday.
Excellent.
Looking forward to enjoying the clear skies and Musikfest celebration, which has been rather limited because of the weather and
bad weather, but also because of how busy you are.
Been busy.
Yeah.
Everyone's busy, but we've been very busy here in Bethlehem for sure.
Yeah, let's just go right. Well, actually, let's give you a little bit of a backstory because our very first Winter Wonder Jam, which was on this stage right here, you were still working for the Morning Call at the time.
Correct.
And were so kind to do a nice little piece about it. And then that's how we connected. And then we've formed a friendship, and like we love hearing what's going on. And then you've been gotten that much more connected to the Moravian settlements of Bethlehem, joining in with this UNESCO World Heritage Site. So let's get a little bit of the backstory too on how you evolved into here, and then we can get into that.
I just took a deep breath because it's exhausting to even think about that journey between being 30 years at the Morning Call, and we had a beautiful occasion just last night. A few of us Morning Call alum got together at the Iron Pigs just to sort of catch up and check in on one another. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but even your dad was part of the Morning Call, so this was like second generation.
Yeah, my dad started at the Morning Call in 1967, so it's been a long, long time since the Morning Call did not have a Larimer working there. But yeah, my dad was a sports writer, sports editor. He was the Eagles beat writer for years, and yeah, he would come home full of stories and tell us about the people and the personalities. And I didn't know that I was necessarily destined to work there, but I had an internship at the Morning Call in the early 90s when I was at Wilkes, and it just worked out. So little by little, bit by bit, that's how things go, right? You just sort of prove yourself, and then I had this natural curiosity for things, and just itches that needed to be scratched, and wound up being wound up. I earned it. I mean, it wasn't like I just accidentally, whoops, I'm an editor.
Absolutely, no, I love that.
But I was a designer, and I have a BFA, so I was designing page one and leading the visuals department and the photography department and the copy desk, and then things got smaller, and I was doing
more
a beer
hats.
column.
That's right.
At the time, so I was able to sort of prove that I could do that, not just a
visual
very
guy. Passionate home brewer. Like making it more like people feeling like it's more of this like legitimate thing rather than just I brew my own beer. No, brewing your own beer is like a thing.
Brewing your own beer is definitely a thing.
A thing, yeah.
It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to get right. So I have the utmost respect for anyone who does it on a large scale or a small scale, does it well.
Right.
So anyway, I was doing that, and then things got smaller, and they contracted out the design work, but the publisher said, why don't you lead the arts and entertainment desk?
Cool.
And that was probably the best job I've ever had. And all due respect to every job I did before that. But I mean, just to be able to talk about Lehigh Valley art and culture and music and entertainment and the Freddies and have an opportunity to interview people who come down the line and meet people like you who are doing amazing things to promote all these amazing artists we have locally who
we really do.
People might not be able to hear of. So it was, and then it was time to move on. So I worked for a little while with Historic Bethlehem Museums and Sites.
Right.
And that led to what I'm doing now, which is I'm working at Moravian University.
Right.
Special Projects Manager is my official title. But I said the
other day... Which sounds badass, to be honest.
Well,
we need Craig. What does he do? Special projects. Like,
right.
Dark ops or something like that.
They're not secret, and they don't dare be secrets. It's my job to make those projects known
it's kind of like
to the public.
Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction. Like
I love the description.
We need to call special projects.
I don't know how closely that relates to what I'm doing.
Probably not at all.
I love the...
Any momentum I was building with Moravian University just got lost.
No, it's fine. So there's a number of things. There's a number of things that I have been doing. Working on a partnership with the good people out in Lancaster. We partnered with the Lancaster Theological Seminary, so I've been doing some work out there and doing some programming out there, some pretty cool things. And this other really, really special project.
I'm going to put the image on the screen here. What we earned.
Yeah, that's it.
World Heritage Site. I mean, this is a huge deal. Like
it is a massive deal.
Yeah, like we talked about it a little bit last year because it was like farthest along in the process short of an approval, which is already an amazing feat.
Yeah.
And so obviously that last, whatever couple of meters probably was maybe even the hardest part, but would love to hear more about you probably couldn't say some things a year ago that you could now.
You're right. I think that is where we left it last time. I think the last we spoke, we had been nominated by the U.S. government.
Correct. That was in place.
Officially nominated in 2022. To be considered as a World Heritage Site. And to be clear, the designation, the site, is Moravian church settlements that include the settlements in Bethlehem that we all know. We walk among them, especially during Musikfest.
Yep.
You're walking among these historic structures.
Exactly. I try and tell people, like, where's this unit site? I'm like, so you're standing in it right now.
And we can talk about that in great detail.
Sure.
But I must mention that it is a cluster of sites. It's a cluster of settlements.
Right. Across
worldwide.
Yeah, international.
So it includes Bethlehem. It includes a settlement, Moravian church settlement in Herrenhout, Germany, another one in Grace Hill, Northern Ireland, and another one in Christiansfeld, Denmark.
Very cool.
And it's actually an extension of the Christiansfeld designation. Christiansfeld, Denmark, a Moravian church settlement, was inscripted to the World Heritage Site in 2015.
Okay.
And it's actually an extension. So the other three settlements that I mentioned are joining
the one that exists. But it's still a huge deal. Like,
it is a massive deal.
Yeah, so there are, I'm going to get these numbers wrong, so 20-ish, 28 in the entire United States?
26. With us, we're the 26.
And it includes things like Statue of Liberty, Independence Hall, the Golden Gate Bridge, like a ton of things that you would expect to be on the list. And in the world, how many is it in the world, do you know?
There's 1,200. There's like 1,199 in the world. So like 1,200.
Right.
In the world. We're talking about the Great Wall of China and the pyramids in Egypt.
Right, like, so
on that scale.
Our daughter studied abroad in Tokyo this last year. Like, it was actually her fall semester a year ago. And so obviously we're going to go visit her. And what did we do? We went to the UNESCO World Heritage Site list of where to go when we were in Japan. Because what do we know? Like, you think you know, and then, so there was stuff that was like, well, this one sounds really cool, let's go check it out. And it was like life-changing. Like, it was like the most amazing temple I've ever seen. But without their list, I would probably not have known to go to Nikko, Japan, to go see this incredibly important heritage site of theirs. And then you hire a guide and you get this in-depth tour, and it's like amazing. So like, I'm pumped for this. Like, this is like a huge, like, people coming to the U.S. will look at this list and they'll probably say, oh, between New York City and Philadelphia and whatever the heck this is in Bethlehem, we can make that all happen. It's going to be very impactful for our area.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I appreciate that you did all your homework. You would be shocked, well, maybe not shocked, to learn. Some people hear UNESCO World Heritage Site and their eyes light up.
Yes.
Others, maybe the majority of others, some of my friends, some of the people in the neighborhood, you say this and it maybe
Blank
falls
stare.
on deaf ears, or they hear World Heritage Site sounds
That's
like
impressive,
a big deal. But when you start defining and describing what it is, when you start mentioning the other United States World Heritage Sites, when you start mentioning these other sites globally, then they seem to grasp it as, and then they say, well, how the heck did we get on that list?
Right. And that's, you're not realizing how special what we have is.
Exactly right. I mean, I grew up here and, 56 years in this city and I love it. I became a Moravian after I met my wife and her family, and little by little, bit by bit, you begin to realize how truly unique and special. It's not really even about the buildings. I mean, the buildings are, the architecture, the design, the town planning that went into it is amazing. The line is, they have outstanding universal value. That is the merit by which UNESCO World Heritage Sites are measured. And that is true. Yeah. That the architecture is sublime and the ingenuity.
Wasn't it things like running water and stuff when at a time in the 1700s? Like
we the Moravians, like, I'm a Moravian, I can say that we
own it.
Developed in the early 18th century at the waterworks. You will walk right by it if you're at Musikfest and you walk east after you've gone to Festplatz. You will cross over the Monocacy Creek and you'll be looking right at the waterworks, the first municipal pumped water system in the United States.
Here
before
in
Philadelphia, before New York, it was right here in the United States, pumping water from the spring, natural spring water, potable water, up the hill, which I believe the cistern was located about where Central Moravian Church is. So up that hill through hollowed out logs and a primitive plumbing system, pumping the water, in a wheel and pumping the water and generating enough pressure and power to push it up into the cistern so that people could, drink and cook and do all those things they needed to do. Amazing,
incredible. And the other parts too that I think are worthy of this as well is the different elements of that women were treated more equally. Both boys and girls were taught in school. Like there was no divide there that was maybe more indicative of the time, and so they should be celebrated for that part as well, their equity.
Yes. Yeah, equity and just the Moravian spirit and education for all and equality for all people. I mean, you walk into Central Moravian Church, and I welcome everyone to do it. And I'm not saying you need to become a Moravian, although it would be lovely if people just thought that way.
Sure.
I think right now we have so much momentum because people are catching on to the fact that the Moravian spirit is something unique and special, and it's not magic; it's just humanity, and it's about equality.
Right? It's like this isn't difficult; it's not rocket science, but still, it was that hard to come by.
Well, I mean,
even in today's day, like it's just insane. But anyway,
historically, it has been hard to come by, and in the end, it's just about decency. And you walk into Central Moravian Church on a Sunday. And there's a lot of people who look like me. There's a lot of people who don't look like me. And straight, gay, black, Asian. It's amazing what it has become. And it's a nurturing environment. It's a welcoming environment. We say every Sunday, wherever you are in your faith journey and however you identify, you have a place here at Central Moravian Church, and we mean it. We actually mean it
for sure. And because it wouldn't have lasted this long if it didn't mean it.
And that's the spirit that we're really looking forward to promoting, along with the architecture and the historic structures and the ingenuity and the art and the music and all the things that are a part of this amazing Moravian culture that when you're walking around the city, you feel it. You don't know what you feel. It feels quaint. It feels safe. Yes, you look up and there's a belfry and it's attractive and it's interesting. But there's something else that's going on in Bethlehem. And I think it's this Moravian spirit that continues almost 300 years after they settled here in Bethlehem.
And it seems pervasive. Like you had one of the most world-renowned steel companies. Like you had all this other stuff going on. Like it just seems to be where that set the tone for everything else to happen.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, I think too, like, I don't think anybody could ever confirm this or whatever, but I think we were governmentally hedging for this as well, because suddenly the Allentown airport got like $5 million from infrastructure, and the city of Bethlehem got a ton of money from the infrastructure bill to kind of improve the roads, because I think they all went, well, if this becomes a UNESCO World Heritage Site, we're going to need better roads, better airports, better everything. And we're all going to be very happy for that. So that's the other part, is if people don't know what a UNESCO World Heritage Site means, and you're from this area, especially living in Bethlehem, you're going to want to know what that means, because you better start getting ready.
Well, you're right. And I should mention that if you would like to know more about the story, please visit MoravianChurchSettlements.org.
Hey, I'll bring it up.
MoravianChurchSettlements.org. It's a mouthful, but there's a lot of information about the 4 sites, as we mentioned, the 4 global sites. There's information about how we got here. There's information about the nomination. There's information, there's photography that just gives you a better feel for how the other sites look. And there is a similarity among them.
Yeah, look at that.
Images that were selected for the cover, the belfries are present. So from left to right, we have the Bethlehem settlement, then the Christiansfeld settlement, then the Grace Hill settlement in Northern Ireland, and the Herrenhut settlement in Germany. And it has been an absolute delight and pleasure to work among not only the Bethlehem contingent, the council and the commission, the mayor's office, Hank Barnett, former CEO and president of Bethlehem Steel, Charlene Donchez-Mowers, always influential, essential people in the area that know the story, that want to promote the spirit of the Moravians. Everyone I just mentioned are Moravians, by the way. The mayor, Hank Barnett, Charlene Donchez-Mowers, the guy you're sitting next to. And you feel that spirit when you're in the room.
Look at that amazing. Like that's right at the bottom of Main Street.
Yeah, that's the Second Single Brethren's house, and that's owned by Moravian University. And the great thing about it, and the special connection for me, is that was the location directly south of that, directly in back of that. That was the location of the very first brewery in Bethlehem, the Single Brethren's Brewery.
Wow, come right back to beer every time.
There's some storytelling there.
In a great way.
Yeah, so Bethlehem,
that's so cool.
Cradle of industry. I mean, you mentioned it, the Bethlehem Steel. I mean, I think the Moravians and what they had built along the Monocacy Creek at that colonial industrial quarter, the tannery, the tinsmith, the dye house, all those things along Monocacy Creek were the foundation and
it's inspirational.
Yeah. For all the things that came after it.
Outstanding. Thank you for sharing all of that. Where did they have to go? For like the final vote or the approval, the mayor and those where they
it was in New Delhi, India.
I kept saying Turkey, but I knew it was somewhere like out, like it was international.
It
travel.
Is out there.
So they had to go to India for like the final approval, and then that's amazing. Like they must have been hooting and hollering after getting that.
Well, I've spoken to the mayor. I've spoken to the president of the university, the delegation, and Chris Giesler, the Moravian bishop, who also made the trip for the announcement.
Right.
And they're still rather awestruck by the experience. I mean, to be in a room with the international collection of nominees, and they didn't work out for all of them. But to be in a room that could essentially
that's what makes it such an important list.
Yes.
Is it's a curated, validated, actual. Again, it's earned its place on this list. So again, we need to be more proud than ever before.
Yeah, and I think our responsibility now, my responsibility now, is to share the story, to talk to people like you who obviously are interested, influential, and are storytellers themselves. Learn the story, get to know the history, and then share that story with the visitors who are going to come here. We have an obligation to understand
people
it.
Traveling to Musikfest and Bethlehem at other points in the year, but people are traveling to Musikfest from all over the place because of the music, because of the vibe, because of everything. So on this week, I specifically always want to bring on people who are like community leaders to highlight how awesome the town is, so that you not only appreciate what it is when you get here, but maybe want to come back during a non-Musikfest time. So that's one of the reasons why when you were initially like, hey, I can't talk about music too much because of this thing, I'm like, no, that's the thing I want you to talk about.
Well, I will be attending. I did attend a concert. I'm going to attend another concert.
You're going to see Cliff Nuts and Christina
I'm going to go
Leeds.
back and see those two. I can't wait to experience that.
Yeah. Well, let me. So as soon as I hit done on here, we're going to the polka tent, and then it's going to be, from there, Cliff Nuts, Drew and the Blue, Dylan, back to Cliff Nuts, and then catch some of, and then we'll get over for Dust Bowl Revival at the end. So. It's going to be a great day.
And maybe take a tour of Central Moravian Church.
And then we will do that as well. I don't think you're going to want our
2 to 4 today and tomorrow.
Sweaty
There's my plug.
Alcohol addled brains in there.
Leave your mugs at the door.
That's exactly what we'll do. But anyway, Craig Larimer, thanks for joining the show. Mike, thanks for guest co-hosting.
Anytime. Love it.
I also wanted you to
also,
catch a little kind of warm up of the music we're about to see.
I can't wait. That's great.
Awesome. So we'll close it out again with Blair Crimmins and the Hookers. It's all over now.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.